Hey ladies and gents, this is Kolsky, and yes, he's back. This is my review for Spider-Man Homecoming. So, we all know that this is the second reboot of the Spider-Man movie series in recent times, which we're all kind of concerned with that. But then when we found out that Marvel were going to be involved in this one, and then Spider-Man made his first appearance as Tom Holland actor in the Civil War film, I think we were all pretty confident that this new Spider-Man movie could be something special, particularly with Marvel's involvement. And I can confidently say that this is the case. This movie is awesome. I had a grin ear to ear for the whole film, and for many reasons which I'm about to cover. The first thing is no origin story, no radioactive spider bite, no Uncle Ben, to the point the spider bite is only just referenced very quickly in the film, and from memory Uncle Ben isn't even mentioned at all. Yeah, all of it moves very quickly to the point it basically picks up from just after Civil War, and with Spidey obviously still trying to come to terms with these powers, none of this montage of him learning his stuff and then by the second act of the movie he knows exactly what he's doing like all the other films. Now he's still coming to terms with not only who he is as Spider-Man and his powers, but who is Peter Parker? He's in high school, and it's around the time of the the homecoming dance in America, this is an important time in a teenager's life where they're trying to work out who they are and where they fit in the world. And then you've got Peter who's there, and then obviously got these new powers as Spider-Man, trying to figure out, where he fits in the world as well as Spider-Man, as well as being himself. And then you've got Tony Stark, who's basically, teasing him, and Peter spends the majority of the movie trying to impress Tony Stark to become an Avenger without really knowing who he is, which, this is a great part of the story, that there is so much growing going on in the film of him, instead of it being a montage of learning his powers, and like I said, having those, by the second act of the film, he's perfect at all of his capabilities. Peter is still learning. And there's even some funny elements there where, Spider-Man doesn't live in New York. He lives in the suburbs out of New York. How does Spider-Man swing around in the suburbs when there isn't, tall buildings and things like that? There's actually some very funny parts with this. And that's another part that I will focus on. A lot of people will probably have a whinge that, Marvel tend to make their movies funny, and the DC universe are dark, and everyone likes that brooding Batman shit. But let's face it, the Spider-Man comics and the cartoons and all of that were meant to be funny. Peter Parker is meant to be a wisecrack, smart-ass young kid, which I actually think even like this series with Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield series lost a bit. They got a bit dark. It's where these are much lighter and much more fun, and actually very funny. Okay, bad guys. Look, Michael Keaton is a great actor. We all know this. And in my opinion, Spider-Man Homecoming is not a letdown. Vulture, for me, was not only a great villain, to the point, I think, up there as one of the best in the Marvel universe so far, probably second only to Loki, to the point I think he's probably the second best villain in the Spider-Man series, second only to Doc Ock here. I love this film, and particularly this sequence that's going on at the moment. Probably one of the best Spider-Man villains ever portrayed. But Michael Keaton's performance here of Vulture is awesome, and it's not one of those things where his motivation is unrealistic. He's not some super organisation that wants to take over the world. He's you and me. He's a average Joe who just got screwed by the system, and basically ends up putting together a crew of bad guys, which is another thing too, where Spider-Man Homecoming actually balances well that there is more than one Spider-Man known villain in this film. There's probably at least three that I'm aware of, and this movie balances them so well by not getting Spider-Man entangled personally with each of these people, having a personal relationship, to the point a couple of them basically are just thugs, but it works so well for this film. It works really well for the film, and basically gives that breathing room for Vulture to be that main villain of the film. And of course, Michael Keaton's performance is outstanding to say the least. Obviously, the connection to the previous Marvel films is done so simply, but so adequately. It basically tells you everything you need to know, to the point it just slides in there to the rest of the Marvel universe with ease, no confusion, to the point it's a couple of minutes into the film you're already there. You know where this is taking place. That's all really awesome. Cool action sequences. It's not over the top. Some great, obviously, cameos by Marvel Universe characters, which I'm not going to go too much into, but look, this was really good. The whole Tony Stark thing of, him taking the suit away, which you've seen this in the trailers, taking the suit away from Parker, that's obviously powered much like the Iron Man suit, taking it away and having Peter have to prove himself as that part of the story obviously worked so well, and I think was really an integral part of the story to make this move. I was so impressed by that. Great story. Great action. This movie's awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. If you have seen it, I'd like to know what you think. Let me know. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Most of what I'm seeing, everyone loves it. I hope this movie makes a shitload of money, and we will see Spidey again in Avengers Infinity War next year, I do believe, before we see the next Spider-Man film. So, look, I'm giving this 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. I mean, look, a 10 out of 10 is perfect. Nothing's perfect. 9 out of 10 is almost perfection, which there's not much that reaches that. 8 out of 10 for me, like I said, solid. Funny, entertaining, great. Just absolutely great. Go and see it, enjoy it, and make sure you stick around for the end credits, because they're funny as shit, particularly the last one. Patience is a virtue, people. So this is Kolsky, and this is my review of Spider-Man Homecoming. 8 out of 10. Peace out.